So in here we're adding functionality to the edit button. So far if we click on the edit button, it just refreshes the page and it tries to go to edit.php, which does not exist. All right, so let's create edit.php, and we can copy what's on delete.php so that we speed things up a little bit. Okay, and then also for us to be able to edit our post, we might want to get this section right here. All right, so let's go to our folder and simply duplicate delete.php, control copy and paste, and then we're going to change the name to edit.php, and then we're going to open that in our editor, right? So before we start editing anything here, what I want is to go to profile.php. Actually it's post.php, because that's what contains a post, a single post, and I want to search for edit. Now what the edit link is missing is a post ID, because we need to know what post ID to actually edit. Very good. Everything seems fine so far, so far so good. Now if we come here and actually test this, let me go somewhere with something like this. I'll click on edit here. There we go. So it's asking me, are you sure you want to edit this post? So I need to clear this section up. So what I will do is I'm going to go to the new file edit.php and go down to where it's displaying the post, and this is the part that displays the post, which has an include. So I will of course delete that part because I don't need it, and I actually don't need the user role because I'm not using it anywhere else. Let me search just to confirm that I'm not using it anywhere else, which is true. So I will remove this section as well. And then, are you sure you want to delete? I will change this to edit post. And what else? Delete button will contain save instead of delete. Save, something like so. We still need the post ID here to identify the post, so I will leave that intact. Also on the form, because we're going to be possibly uploading images, we need to add an encoding type. We'll say enc type, which is form/multipart data. Is it? Well, I can confirm from profile.php. I'm sure it has that. Where is profile.php? There we go. I can simply search for a form. There we go. So it's multipart form data. Oh my god, I was completely off right there. There we go. So it's supposed to be multipart form data. All right, so once we have that and we have everything here, we're good to go. So let's refresh the page and see what we get. So of course we get nothing, but what we want to get is this section right here, what's on your mind. So we want that part from profile.php, what's on your mind. So it's the text area and the file uploader right here. Those are the two things we need. So I'll copy that and put them right here. So I'm going to add an echo since that was HTML. And since the HTML is using double quotes, I'll use single quotes outside and paste that data, and then put a semicolon at the end, push that in, and we should be good to go. So let me go down here and edit my post. Good. Right, so I got what's on your mind, but this is not what I need. I want to see what the post actually contains. So the text area, its value is in between the opening and the closing tag. So what I will do is get, because we already have information from the row. Where is the row? Just to be sure. Where is that? There we go, raw user ID. So I will copy that part and come down here and put it in the middle of the text area, opening and closing. And instead of user ID, I am going to use, okay, there we go. I need to put a single quote there, put a dot, and then come out here, put a dot and a single quote, open and close the string. Then I will select post instead, because post is what contains the text. So there we go, I have the text, but I need to see the image down here as well, since this post has an image. So what we will do is steal that from post.php, wherever it's displaying the post image. Where is that? Right here. It checks if the file exists around line 60 here. So I'm going to copy this part. That's what I need. So I'll close that, go to edit.php, right here. Actually, I want the image to be below everything else, so I'll go down here and put it there. And I will use my tab key to make things look a bit neater. I think we are onto something here, but this class is not defined. So what we will do is define it at the top here and say is equal to new capital image, like so, and closing semicolon. There we go. So raw image and post image is equal to that, and I think I just want it to be at 50%, something smaller. Let me refresh, and voila. But the browse file is down here. But if you like it like that, that's fine, no problem. But where is input file name? I don't actually understand why that's happening, but I think what I could do is put this inside a div to give it, because the div will automatically take over everything in the width here. That has solved the problem, but it has moved to one side. So what I will do here is add a break tag before the div, and then what I'm going to do is add some styles to the div and tell it, hey, put everything in the center. And I will do that by saying text align center. All right, so it seems we have everything good to go. There we go. So I could probably use a little bit more space here. Perfection. Let's go. So you can design this as you wish, but I think this is good enough. So let's try a different post. Let's go back here and see if we can collect a different post. Let me click edit. Okay, there we go. So new post there. Very good. So far everything is working well, except when we hit save, we're supposed to see something happen here. So now when we hit save in profile.php, when we are saving a post, at the top here we are using the not the profile class, we are using the, there we go, we are using the post class, and there's a function called create post. So what we need is to copy what's here. Let me copy that. There we go, copy, and I go to edit.php, then go at the very top. Actually, we already have what we need here. All we need to do is change this delete post to edit post. Now instead of supplying the post ID only, we want to supply the entire post variable, and also we want to supply the entire files variable, like so. Don't forget the underscore here after the $, just like this. So we have everything we need. So now what we need to do is go to the classes folder and get the post class. And now in here in post class we have this create post function, right? It has most of what we need. So instead of doing things from scratch, let's leave some space here and duplicate the function create post by pressing Control Shift D or Shift D on some systems. All right. So let's edit this thing a little bit so that it looks like what we actually need. Okay. All right, so to start with, we don't need the user ID because we've already established on edit.php here that I am eligible to actually edit this post. So I don't need to confirm that or use the user ID here, so I will remove user ID. All right, so then we are going to, of course, change the name to edit post because that's the function we are calling. And then over here, we're not going to be checking if this is a profile image or not. So I am going to remove all these here like so. And then here is checking if this is a profile image again. So I am going to delete everything up here like so. And then since there are no condition here anymore, I'm going to remove this open curly bracket and the closing curly bracket to avoid a syntax error. Is cover image is equal to 0, those are irrelevant at this point. We will need my image and we will need has image to confirm whether an image was added when it becomes 1. So if there's no image, it's 0. If there's an image, it's 1. All right, so this one is getting the post data itself, which is cool, which is fine. Now we don't need to create a post ID. We already have a post ID coming in from the post itself, so we're just going to grab it from there and we're going to say post ID like so. But since we are getting this data from the user, we cannot trust it, so we're going to add slashes there. Or a better way is we could check if it's numeric or not, but this should do just fine. And then now we're going to create a query here. Now this query isn't this is an insert query, which is very different from an update query. That's what we need. So I'm going to say update posts. That's how it goes, like update posts. Set post. Post is the actual column that contains the post text. So we're going to set post is equal to, we'll put some inverted commas like that, the variable post, because we are getting it from there. So this is the variable we're adding here. So set post is equal to post, and then we put a comma and say image, image is equal to, we named this one my image up here. This is the one that contains the image path. So this will be equal to $, my image, like so. But where should it update this? We're supposed to put a where clause and say where post ID, because we have a post ID, where post ID is equal to post ID. And then we'll remind it to limit this interaction to just 1 and say limit 1 row, so that it doesn't get carried away and change everything. And then once the query is done, we can run the query. And I think that's about it. Oh, but wait a second. If my image is equal to an empty string here, and then we don't find an image, the user hasn't replaced that image, which means we are going to save an empty string into the image. Oh, sorry, this shouldn't be a dot, it should be a comma. All right. Which means we're going to save an empty string, which means we will replace the image whether we like it or not. So instead, let's make 2 queries, right? So the first one, we're going to check, we're going to add an if statement and say if has image. Since we have this has image variable, which becomes 1 when there's an image, 1 is the same as true. So if we simply ask if has image, then it's going to return true if there's really an image, because of the 1. And then let's come back here and put an else statement like so. So what we do here, if it has an image, allow the image, else let's remove the comma and the image variable here and hit save. I think this is about it. So let's give it a swirl, a test. Let me go to the edit. Let me add something at the end here. This is my first image. Let me add today and hit enter. Oh, unfortunately, enter on the what's this? The text area creates a new line, so we have to hit save. What has happened? Why are we back here? Let me refresh. Oh, I see what's going on. Let me refresh that. Something is wrong. All right, so what's happening is on edit.php here, after everything happens, there's a header location to refer us back to the profile.php. So what I want to do is mute these two so that I can see if there are any errors happening here. So let me do that again. Today, save. So it's telling me that there's an illegal string offset post ID in post classes line 121. What this illegal string offset means is that there's an array and this post ID isn't part of that array location. So let's go back to the post classes here, and on line 121, which is right here. So it's telling me that post ID does not exist. So what's going on? Let me go to edit.php, come down here and make sure that there is post ID. And there is indeed a hidden field with post ID, with the value of the post ID itself. So what exactly is going on? All right, so my mistake, instead of saying post, I should have said data, because at the top here, we changed this to data. This is the data coming in, so instead of post here, it should be data. There we go. That should work. So let's refresh and resend. Let's try again. Let me refresh the page. Simply refresh. There we go. All right, so things have actually worked this time. So I've added the today there. However, I want to be able to be returned to the page that I was. Maybe I was on my timeline or I was on my profile and I decided to edit. I should return to the page that I was at. So if I click, what's this one here? Edit. And then I add some, let me add a 2 here and click save. It brings me back here. But my browser surprisingly has this caching problem. So it doesn't show the data until I refresh. I don't know why that is, but it's working. So I want to be returned to my profile or the page that I was at. Now, if you remember, we had this thing that the referrer that we had created in, where was that? In like.php. So if I open like.php here, I'll get this section which has an HTTP referrer. So I'll copy this section here. That's what I need. I'll close the file. And then I'll go to edit.php at the very top here. Instead of being redirected to my profile, I will add this if clause down here. Okay. So what this one is doing is that it's asking me, is a referrer set the previous page that I came from? If it is, then return to will be set to the referrer. If it's not set, then return me to the profile.php. So then I'll open this header and then copy return to and remove this part, but concatenate dot return to. So let's start from 0. Let me go back here. And where are we? Let me edit this and add number 5, for example, and save. Now look what has happened. It has refreshed on the very same page, because what's happening is once I'm typing and then I refresh the page, when I hit save, the referrer becomes this very page. And this page is edit.php. So we can be clever about this and tell this guy to only set these values if the referrer doesn't have edit.php in it. So what I will do is I'll say and at the top here and say string str. This is how you search inside a string for another string. So the haystack here is what we are searching, the referrer. And I'm going to put it right there. And then what we are searching for is edit.php. Now the problem here is that by the time the referrer, by the time we are editing and clicking save, it means this referrer is no longer available, the original page we came from. So we need a way to store the referrer even though the page has refreshed. And we have the perfect way to do that using the session instead. So what I will do is I will change return to and put underscore session, because session can store data for longer than just one page refresh, like so. So if session return to will be equal to that, else it will be equal to profile.php, and then we're going to return to whatever that value is at the time. So this should work unless something else is wrong. So let's go back and give it a spin. So let me click, let me try this one, or the same one with the 5. Let me just change that to an 8 and then hit save. Okay. This is not working either. So let me come back here and try that again one more time and hit save. No, it's not taking me back there. So what exactly is going on? Did I do the string wrong? Let me do str. That's the haystack and that's the needle. So everything is fine there. So return to... Okay, what I will do instead, let me set this, let me go back here. Let me remove that and put this at the top, like so. I think that should do the trick. First, we set it to profile.php. If this is set and it doesn't have that, it will set it to that, and then return. Okay, let me try this now. So let's change this to a 1. Save. Still not refreshing. All right, so for me to know, let me remove this and then let me echo out what the referrer is at this time. So I'm going to say echo at the top here so that we see what's happening there, right? So let me edit, let me go back to here so that we have a referrer to come back from and edit, and then remove everything there, hit. So this is the referrer right here, but how did we get there? Okay, so the first time we come around, its profile is set to profile.php. And then the second time, if it is set, and well, everything seems fine here, so I don't know what's going on. This could be a problem with my browser. Now, before I accuse the browser, let me try and go back here. So right off the bat here, I want to see what the referrer is. I want it to echo down here the minute I arrive. So let's come back here, some troubleshooting here. I see it, edit. So the referrer is profile.php. So at the same time, so I see what's happening here. Okay, so this makes sense. So what's happening is that by the time we hit post here, that referrer is no longer there, because the first time we loaded the page, it doesn't go through this if statement, because this only requires, it only passes through here when you hit post. So what I need to do is move this out of this, somewhere up there. So which means I need that else statement back here again. Oh, do I? So I actually don't need this else statement here, I think. Here where it says if the string has edit.php, I'm supposed to negate this part. Sorry about that. So I'll put my exclamation mark there, so that it's supposed to be if this is set and it doesn't have edit.php. Then we were checking if it has edit.php, that's when we were saving it. So it should be not right there. All right, finally this should work this time. So let me try to edit one post, and it's giving us a headache, and there we go. Okay.